Constituent input. This is an opportunity for anyone to address the Board of Commissioners on any item of their choice. We ask you to limit your comments up to no more than 5 minutes, and commissioners may or may not respond. I sense there may be some people in the audience who would like to address us. Who wants to go first? And for the record, please identify yourself, and again, please limit your comments to 5 minutes.
Hi. Haley Davis, probably know me from Facebook, yeah. And I'm a farmer and a landowner. I'm with my husband along the Siletz River in the Logston Valley. And I'm here to present a formal request. I understand you just told me you can't, but I think that you probably can. So for the citizens, concerned citizens of the Siletz River, here's our formal request for the immediate cease and desist of distributing of all biosolids in and around the Siletz area and the surrounding watershed. Now, we the concerned people for the Siletz River, save our Siletz River, and all living creatures that rely on it are requesting you commissioners to use your ability to demand that all entities or currently or planning to in the future cease and desist now spreading any biosolids, treated sewage on the farmlands along the Siletz River. We are gravely concerned for the health and welfare of the entire Siletz River community and all living creatures which rely on it. Due to the substantial amount of proven studies presenting evidence of the inevitable damage by the spreading of these biosolids on farmlands, as outlaid in the attached inevitable damage that it could or already has caused. Also quoted from the attached overview, Thomas Maller, PhD. And I just quoted from him. The indefinite problem, 10,000 of these components will contaminate the land for decades, and perhaps even hundreds, if not thousands of years once they are applied to the land. And there is simply nothing one can do to decontaminate the land. Furthermore, the tests that would determine the extent of which these toxins will be taken up by the plants or animals we consume simply do not exist. With 30,000 different synthetic man-made chemicals, once applied on the land, the same goes for the vast majority of biological pathogens like superbugs that will spread on the land with the sludge. Once the microplastics from the sludge are applied on the land, they will contaminate the land for hundreds of years, or the waterways if they make it there, washed away by rain. Once applied on the land, it will either stay or end up in the river. Oops, I probably read that tight. Lakes or ocean. The genie cannot put it back in the bottle. Once it gets out, the best solution is not to apply the toxic matter on the land in the first place. We're too late for that. Attached overview, the dangers of the sewer sludge biosolids by Thomas Maller, PhD. DEQ is aware of the quality concerns of the Siletz River and is evaluating the potential danger from sources of these implements. They are considering whether the biosolids may contribute to water quality issues. DEQ assembled a local stakeholder advisory committee in 2012 to provide advice to the DEQ in developing strategies for the water quality improvement as part of the Mid-Coast Total Maximum Daily Loads. And you can see their website, and I attached the website there. It does not work any longer, though. For more information on this effort, try calling David Waltz, Mid-Coast Basin Coordinator, 541-667-7345. So, for the health and safety of the community and all the living creatures for which it relies, we the people ask you the commissioners to demand the cease and desist of the spreading of biosolids on all farmlands in the Siletz River and its watershed by all entities. Save our Siletz River. And that's our request. I think that you can do it from what I've researched, but I don't know the laws. But I do know we have a well. And I want to tell you right now, I'm very concerned of our well. And since the notice is out now, if our well is tested and it is contaminated, I want you guys to help us. I'm holding responsible. We can't let this continue. Can I give this to you?
Sure. Recorder.
Also, a field right next to where they dump is the church well, where they also had the school.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll make sure everybody gets copies, and
Sorry, I only have
we can
one
certainly
copy.
forward it to the appropriate individuals. Okay. Anything else? We've got about a minute left.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Alan Davis. I'm a disabled vet. I serve my country in top secret missions. It's on NARA, National Administration Record Administration. It's also in the National Security Archives. I've been ignored by all of you except for Mr. Hall. Thank you. First of all, our government said DDT in the 60s was safe. As you know, it wasn't. Second of all, then they said Agent Orange and cancer was safe. It wasn't. Third of all, they said Roundup is safe. California is currently suing Monsanto because it isn't safe. Oregon right now is suing Monsanto also because of the soil on parts of the Columbia River has PCPs in them and some of the fish you can't eat. The Siletz River soils has never been tested. The banks, the algae. So as all this water go into all the people and the children in our community, and then you care? That's frightening. Second of all, Richard Honor, a Washington microbiologist, is now on a crusade to outlaw this practice in Washington state, and we should follow, period. Spokane, Washington uses the same thing that Lincoln County does, spreads the biosolids in some farmer fields. They've had such a public outcry that they're going to try to incinerate it. Even though Washington state has said that it is legal, but the outcry was so bad, they're finding another way to do this. Thus, that's where Richard Honor has come in and proved, a microbiologist, it is not safe at all. Third of all, 50% of the chemicals will never be taken out after processing. It is in the ground. We're drinking it. You're drinking, your glass of water probably has it if you took it out of the Siletz River. The last one, the church is right next to one of these fields. I've listened to children play out there all the time. And you know when they play, they get thirsty. Their well has never been tested. So any of these children get this cancer, all you guys, all you, are responsible for not stopping it. And the last thing, if this turns into a super fun site to clean these fields up, it's going to cost the county millions. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your service to our country. Next, anyone else?
My name's Kevin Goodell, and I'm a Siletz tribal member and a veteran also. And I'm concerned. I'm just trying to back these people that with all this information, and I've been looking into it just for a short while, but I got concerns about the DEQ only worrying about increased nitrogen and phosphorus on the fields and not anything else. One concern I've had for years is all the stuff the cities aren't required to test for that are chemicals that can show up in sewage and affect drinking water, fish, deer, elk, and the people. And there are other alternatives to doing this, and I believe we need to stop this today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And again, thank you for your service to our country.
Use Kevin's 4 minutes. Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. George.
You guys all be happy to know you won. So the court decision came down and I lost my appeal. So you got a $70,000 judgment against me that you will never see because I am destitute. So have fun with that. The other thing is, of course, we're all very concerned what's happening, and I went and contacted Toledo. Toledo is planning on starting their dumping at the end of May, beginning of June, and so that is going to take, and they weren't inform me how many hundreds of thousands of gallons they plan on also dumping. But I understand that the Lincoln City, the fields that they also dump out there, they went out and tested, and the fields were at 90% capacity before they ever even started, so they weren't able to continue dumping there. So they've already exceeded, or almost exceeded, their maximum level already before starting. I came home, I went to the aerial spray seminar down in Yachats. And I really wanted to let everybody know, it was kind of funny that you guys are fighting for state supersede rules on your county voters to ban aerial spraying, but yet you're using your county rule to ban a state licensed dispensary. So maybe we'll have appeal issues when you get your spray ban approved. This is what I came home to. Capstone sprayed. Oh no, all along Pioneer Trail. And it states right here not to be sprayed around waterways. I took groups of children and we did a salmon habitat restoration all along the streams, planted thousands of trees, Toledo schools, and now you've come along and sprayed it along the rivers with your poison. So that's another issue. You know, you guys really need to stop this and support the people, because this has been going on for 20 years, is what I've been told. And we know science, we're not that stupid anymore. Mr. Belmont, you said it's highly regulated. That's what you told me. Highly regulated and tested. And now, as in 1 week, they found out more than obviously anybody knew here in this commission as to the dangers that are happening to our water supply. And I know for a fact, because I lived with a contaminated well that was put in by this county, almost killed my daughter. I still got the jar of water. And so that's why I became concerned, because I know what it does to our children. This has to stop. And you guys, oh, and the other thing is Toledo. So this is so funny to me that in all these years you guys couldn't figure out what to do. So Toledo, I talked to them because they've got issues also with cross-contamination of the GP mill that's going into the wastewater, okay? There's potential that we've had problems, and I've talked to DEQ about that. We've also got, from what I understand, paint chips showing up in the wastewater treatment, okay, from the boatyard. So there's cross-contaminations going, and then you're going to go spread it on our drinking water. So we've got an incinerator at the mill, right? You can dry that waste out. And from what I was told is it can be turned into pellets to be burned in wood stoves. So if you can burn it in a wood stove, why can't we burn it at GP Mill? Why can't that mill, for the first time ever, actually benefit the people of these communities instead of causing us so much harm? So that's something we need to look into, is drying this stuff out and incinerate it instead of putting it into the watershed. So hopefully we'll get some new commissioners. And Mr. Thompson, I'm really sorry that you didn't actually, hopefully you're going to stay very active in the community.
Thank you.
I hate to lose you because I think you truly are focused on the water. I know you never have been. So we look forward to the upcoming election.
As do I.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Oh, yes. Oh, here, I need my paperwork. Ooh, can I say one more thing? Mid-Coast Watershed put out a study. They've been monitoring the river. Do you know where they say the problem is on the watershed? The town of Siletz. They're blaming it on the people of Siletz, while every town in this county is dumping their garbage on the river. You blame the people.
Well, I'm a Siletz people, they better not be blaming me. Hi, good morning. I'm Celine Relatas, I'm a Siletz tribal member, and I just operate on a wing and a prayer. I'm a little late today because there happened to be a family member that got shot last night. So I was on the phone, and I appreciate our law enforcement for their awesome work for keeping the rest of my family safe, and I haven't even told my friends that, but sounds like my nephew may have lost his foot, and so I'm a little shook up today. But I'm new to learning about all of this. I appreciated what you said, Mr. Hall, and what you said, Mr. Thompson. But as a person that's worked for my tribe in the cultural department for 20 years, we have always said that the ocean, when the tide is out, the table is set. When we make decisions, it is based on you and the next 7 generations after you. These are our philosophies. Mr. Hunt knows me, knows my family, and so I know you're concerned about the water that you're drinking. You have got to be. How many years have we been buying bottled water? How many of us purchase Emerald Springs waters in our homes? Why are we doing that? Why? Because we're not good stewards of the land. You all think you live in the box, you are in charge of this county. Be in charge. You know, take her statement and really take it to task. The DEQ, there are studies. Now, mind you, I'm not educated with this, but their studies do not do a complete study that is necessary. So, if they're minding the children, they're not doing a very good job. The cities are supposed to be monitoring, Mr. Thompson, this waste. Who is responsible for the city monitoring this? You asked a similar question that I'm asking right now. So, nobody's monitoring it. Kayleen and Alan are monitoring it. They had 2,500 views on the recording that was sent to you all of those trucks zooming by even on Mother's Day. You know, those guys must have moms, you know, but anyway, this began in May. 500,000 of gallons already was spread from Depot Bay. 500,000 gallons.
Gallons.
Just put that in your pipe, you know? I mean, it's like, that's a lot of solid waste. There's a Cree saying that says, and here we are, you're the doctors, you're the medicine people, to heal this water. That's to stop. I don't know if we can heal the water, but after all the trees are gone and there's no air to breathe, and after all the water's polluted and there's no clean water to drink, only then we'll realize we can't eat money. That's been a saying from the early 1900s. And look where we are. Look at the ocean. Look at the ocean. 1979, got married, flew over that in a helicopter. Oh my God, I was crying. Didn't want to do that again. And I have. You're looking at your clock, but you know what? I have to say, you guys think outside the box. You're the commissioners for this county. Be in charge, you know. Mr. Belmont, look into this more. We're not just talking about the water you drink. We're talking about your children, your grandchildren. You know, we may sound a little radical, a little emotional, whatever, but we are very concerned. I posted that I was going to the Planning Commission meeting to introduce this concern of the citizens of our county. I had 55 people share my post, and I was like, save the Siletz River. That was me standing there like this with some children. That's why we're here. It affects each one of us. Each one of us. And don't get me started on GP. My husband works there, but, you know, more laws, yeah. But in the meantime, we should do a motion to stay. Stop these trucks till there's more, till we have some studies done. You know, we don't even know who signed these permits. Why don't we know that? That's some homework you guys should find out. Who signs these permits? Who allows this? You permit what you promote. It's time that we stop doing this and save our water for the future generations. Thanks for your time.
Anyone else?
Excuse me.
Go ahead. Betty, for the record, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Betty Kamikawa from Toledo, and I am a scientist in this. I am an agronomist, was raised in Illinois, and so most of my background is Illinois soil testing, but it pretty much applies everywhere in the world. Back in the 80s, we did apply sludge, and the soil testing lab I worked at used methods to test the soil, and we sent the sludge to other laboratories to test. And we were looking at heavy metals. Now, heavy metals have gone down in sludge, but other things have gone up. We now have cosmetics in our water, and that gets into our soil, all of our wastewater. So any vitamins that you take, any pharmaceuticals you take, anything that your body eliminates because it didn't need it goes out in your waste, which is in this biosolids now. Anything that you wash down the drain that was on your hands, in your clothes, the fire retardant that they put in our clothing, and as you wash it in the laundromat or at the laundry, it comes right out and goes down the drains, and it's all in this biosolid that we're applying to the ground, and they're not testing for that. That's the biggest problem. Now, Mr. Hall, you said that you have the same information I have. The buffer strip area. It says domestic water sources or wells, no bulk Class B solid biosolids or domestic septage should be applied within 200 feet. I believe that the Siletz River is a water source, a domestic water source, which means they should not be applying that 50 feet from the river. It needs to be 200, and that needs to be checked. There was all this information, it's all in here. Everything that you need to know who's got the information, who should have the information. According to this, our health department should have a copy of all of those permits that's required according to this information. And this is from the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality. So, who's got it? Who signed it? It's all right there. Somebody needs to find it. And there is, it can be revoked. The site authorization can be revoked. And that's in here on page 15. And if they're not following the domestic water source 200 feet rule, then it can be revoked.
And revoked by DEQ, is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes. And but as a commission, you can draw it to their attention. So can the health department, so can the citizens, and that's what we're trying to do. My concern is that once it's in the soil, it doesn't necessarily stay there. Heavy metals will, as the soil pH gets lower, they become available. And we don't know on these other things. Now, the soils here in Oregon are very acidic to begin with. So when you add water to it, so you're adding water, you raise the pH, but it doesn't raise it enough to hold those things in the soil. The other thing is that the part of the plant that takes up that, all of these things is the leafy part. They're growing hay on those fields, which on a lot of those fields, and other things, I don't know what else they're growing on all of them. But that means that any animal that's eating that is now taking up whatever is in those plants, and it's being stored in their cells, in their bodies. And if it's, cattle, we're eating that. And if it gets into the river, and if it's something that can be washed into the river, then we have a problem with the fish picking it up, or the crayfish, because people eat those. And then you also have the problem of the insects picking up the dust, which also has this stuff in it, and then the birds eating that, or the little animals eating that, or, it's just on and on and on. It's not just the people, it's the whole environment. And then we have the problem of once it's in, you can't take it out. And it becomes a huge issue. And it's not gonna stay right in the Siletz area necessarily either, because it is a river. So it's gonna, travel on down, and, we have to be concerned about those things. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just a little more.
Well, we've allowed everyone 5 minutes.
I still had a minute, I thought,
Come
but a couple of
forward.
things.
Come forward.
A couple of things I forgot to add after Betty pointed out. The elk. We have herds of elk. Have you been out to Logston? In the fields where they're being dumped, many 60. Well, there's one herd of 60. There's another herd of 30. They're coming through. They're in there all the time. There's hundreds of geese in there. And Lincoln, with one field particularly, Lincoln City quit dumping because the farmer was also dumping shrimp. That's what made the nitrogen so high. After talking with the city of Lincoln City, I thought they were nice and quit. They quit because they broke their agreement because the farmer broke his agreement. The city is supposed to monitor. Now, I know one field that I saw that is marked, and I'm under the information, the city of Toledo's already dumped once, by the way, guys. I don't know how much. They're coming back. I have a picture of their little truck, and they're coming back. I called. I asked him neighborly to stop. He said he'd think about it, but, what are we going to do with it? Toledo owns lots of land, but their farmers don't want it. So, the cities are supposed to do this. There is cattle grazing on one of those fields right now. It had to have been dumped on starting May 1st. So if they in fact dumped on that field, the cattle are in there now. These people are not only selling their hay, they're selling their cattle. There's farmers hunting these elk. And the city is supposed to be monitoring all this. They should have graphs showing daily how much is put down. And just for a little more, on the way here, it was raining, it was missing hard. There's puddles on the road. They're on their way to dump now. They're making 4 trips a day. Each truck 5,000 gallons. Yesterday, I did call. I sent an email to Paul Kennedy of the DEQ. I have filed complaints. I didn't file one yesterday, but I sent him a video of the truck spray and of the water on the ground. And my concern that they were out spreading it then. Well, they were out spreading it today, and it was doing the same. City's responsible, but then again, who's responsible for the city? Please, make them stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
More question? I know I cut mine short.
All right, go ahead.
City of, a county in Washington, they were also in trouble with the DEQ because it's also regulated by DEQ. Their commissioner said, we're pulling all the permits, right, in 2012. It took them 6 years for the state of Washington to take them to court. Meanwhile, none of this human waste treated was being spread. So legal counsel Wayne Belmont, you can tell them to cease immediately. The DEQ in Oregon said they might take you to court and might not. But meanwhile, it would be stopped. And one other last statement, we've lived out there for 28 years. 25 years of it, they've been spreading this like crazy. There's literally millions and millions of gallons in them fields. It's sad.
Alan, could I ask you a
Yes.
question? Do you know the name of that county, or could you get that to us?
Actually, it's Lincoln.
Lincoln County, Washington?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
it's kind of ironic.
That's
but-
convenient.
And it's in the Spokane local paper.
Okay, okay. I'll
That's
look
it.
that up. Thank you.
Lincoln County lead the way. For
All right.
Oregon.
It's still sitting.
Anyone else
It's never.
wish to offer public comments?
The pH, I did want to say the pH on that waste that they're dumping, according to the test, is 3.9, Mr. Thompson, so it's very acidic. 3.9 pH they're pouring.
Anyone else? All right. Next item is executive session. I will say that I think we can bring this issue, highlight this issue to the appropriate agencies, but I would encourage all of you to go directly to DEQ. Go directly
If you
to
haven't.
our state senator, State Senator Arnie Roblin and our House Representative David Gomberg. Those are the two people that have the most direct influence on DEQ. Not that we're not willing to support it, not that we're not aware of the problem, but they're the ones that actually directly oversee those departments.
You can stop it, you can stop it immediately.
Well-
You can say that, and your attorney can do it like right now.
Will-
Then it's up to DEQ to take you in court, just like they did in Washington. This can be tied up for years, Mr. Hoffman.
Okay, we'll
look into that. We'll consult with the
our
attorney.
attorney on that.
They only go after medical
We
cannabis
got from the planning
dispensaries.
department Monday, and we need something fast.
We will do what we can.
Yeah, all living creatures rely on this. Everything, you, I, and everything, everything.
All right.
So you were taking up and giving
Next item is executive
one more
session.
time now?
We'll be convening under ORS 192.660, parentheses 2, parentheses H, to discuss litigation matters, and this is a executive session, so we ask the members of the audience to please. Lisa, good to see you.
You too. Mighty finder.
Okay, I'm going to reconvene I'm going to recess.
No, we already recessed. We're
Reconvening into an open meeting. We just had an executive session under ORS 192.660, parentheses 2, parentheses H, to discuss litigation matters, and we're now going to have a discussion and possible decision in a public meeting. I guess Council Belmont or Council Burbidge, you want